Inspiring story of learning English language. The story is about Maria's journey to English fluency. Maria sat outside her small house, watching the setting sun paint the sky in hues of gold and orange. She had always believed that knowledge could transform lives. Yet in her impoverished village, learning English seemed like an unattainable dream. There were no schools nearby that taught the language, and her family barely made enough money to survive, let alone afford private lessons. Growing up, Maria often heard people say that English was a language for the elite. Many in her village believed that mastering it was unnecessary. Whenever she voiced her desire to learn, she was met with discouragement. Why waste time on something so impractical, they said. You should focus on earning money instead. But Maria refused to listen. She knew that English could connect her to opportunities beyond the boundaries of her small village. And so she made the bold decision to teach herself. Maria's father had once received an old smartphone from a relative. It was slow, cracked, and had a battery that barely lasted a few hours. But for Maria, it was her gateway to the world. She discovered free online platforms that taught English, from grammar basics to spoken fluency. She watched tutorial videos, practiced pronunciation with language apps, and studied tirelessly, repeating words until they became familiar. But studying alone wasn't enough. She needed to hear real conversations. Determined to sound fluent, Maria started listening to BBC News and other English broadcasts. She paid attention to the way words flowed, mimicked accents, and repeated sentences until they rolled off her tongue naturally. At first, she struggled. The voices sounded too fast, the words too complex, but she did not quit. Each morning, Maria listened to reports on global events, repeating words aloud until her pronunciation improved. Over time, her speech became clearer, her intonation more natural. Maria realized that to be truly fluent, she needed to converse regularly. But in her village, no one spoke English. That's when she found AI conversation tools. With hesitation, she started chatting with AI assistants, responding to prompts and correcting her mistakes. At first, her sentences were broken, filled with uncertainty, but the AI never judged it, encouraged her to keep trying. She practiced daily, refining her grammar, learning new expressions, and becoming more comfortable with the language. After a few months, she felt ready to talk to real people. Taking a deep breath, Maria joined an online community where native English speakers engaged in discussions. Her first conversation was nerve-wracking. Her heart pounded as she typed, trying her best to express her thoughts without hesitation. "Hello, I am learning English. Can I talk to you?" To her surprise, people welcomed her warmly. Her first spoken conversation was terrifying. She stumbled over words, struggled to keep up, and felt embarrassed. But instead of giving up, she reflected on her mistakes and tried again. With each new interaction, she grew more confident. Her sentences started flowing smoothly, and soon she found herself chatting effortlessly. Maria had come far, but she knew that fluency wasn't just about conversation. It was about speaking publicly with confidence. She practiced speeches in front of a mirror, recorded herself, and corrected her delivery. She focused on continuity, rhythm, and clear enunciation. At first, she hesitated, her voice wavered. But as weeks passed, she became fearless. One day, she stood in front of a small gathering in her village and spoke in English with fluency, continuity, and confidence. 6 months had passed. Maria, once a girl with no resources, had mastered English. 6 months had passed. Maria, once a girl with no resources, had mastered English. She had broken barriers, defied expectations, and proved that passion and persistence could overcome anything. Her story became an inspiration, teaching others that learning was not bound by circumstances. It was fueled by determination. And as she looked up at the sky, Maria smiled, knowing that her journey had only just begun.
If you have enjoyed the story, please like, comment, and subscribe for more interesting stories.